Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so before the video begins, I want to say thank you guys so very much for 5,800 amazing people subscribed to this community, man. And the thing is, I consider this kind of like an early Christmas present, because Christmas is 1 week away. And I wasn't expecting to come home to this. It definitely brought a big-ass smile on my face seeing this upon my arrival at home. I want to say thank you guys so very much for the amount of love and support that you have given this crazy nut house. Thank you guys so very much. With that being said, let's go ahead and let's now proceed with the video. I was just talking about forfeits and he just did it! Not get dirty! Oh shit! Do I look like a baby? Do I have a little sookie in my mouth? Am I wearing a little diaper? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Pokemon fans of the world, you know who it is, and I come at you guys back again once again with a brand new video. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present you guys with another team building / rate my team video. And as you see right here, this is going to be a full-out offensive team built around Naganadel. Now, I want to say, first things first, ladies and gentlemen, big shout out to you guys for the amount of love and support that you've shown my last team building video, which was built around Duskmane Necrozma. That video got a lot of love, and your guys' advice helped me to improve that team just that much more, hence why I call it the Ultra Necrozma Dream Team, and I'm hoping that I can duplicate that kind of success with this team, known as the Naganadel Offensive Dream Team Squad, baby. So with all that being said, let's see if we can hit a lot of support here for this video as well. And also, ladies and gentlemen, please do not be afraid to give me your honest-to-God criticisms about this team. Your guys' criticisms really do help. So, with that being said, if you feel that I need to improve on this team, then please let me know in the comment section down below with the details that is needed to be improving on this team. With that said, let's get started with the main star of the team. And the main star of the team, ladies and gentlemen, you guessed it, we got Naganadel. Now, this Pokemon was banned from Smogon OU to Ubers, and to be quite honest with you, it kind of doesn't surprise me. I mean, this Pokemon, where do I even begin? My god, this Pokemon is absolutely amazing, and no pun intended, but it is a beast in battle, especially once you let this thing have a turn to set up. It's basically over. So with all that being said, we are going to be obviously rocking the Beast Boost ability because it's the only ability that has access to. But what goes on here in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, is that whenever you KO an opponent's Pokemon, the stat of the highest numerical value will be boosted by 1 stage. So with that being said, we then move on to the item of choice. It's going to be none other than the Dragonium Z Crystal, which basically means that we're going to be turning its most strongest Dragon-type move that we're going to be using in this set and turning it into Devastating Drake, which basically means that, well, you get the idea. It's going to have a devastating effect. But with that being said, let's keep on going with the details even further into this set. We're going to be giving this a timid nature because the thing is that with a timid nature and with the investment that we have, which I'll get to in a second, whenever you KO a Pokemon, Beast Boost is going to activate and increase your speed. So basically, this Pokemon is going to be quite the dangerous little speed demon. But basically what goes on with the timid nature, you will be lowering the attack, which we will not be needing in a set like this, and we'll be increasing your speed just that much more. And speaking of attack, we're going to be going with a 0 attacking IV, so that way you take less damage as possible from the likes of Foul Play, and if you are confused and hit yourself in confusion. Now, as for the EV spread, we're going to be going with a standard all-out attacking spread with 2v2 EVs into the special attack, 2v2 into the speed, and 4 into special defense. This thing is one of the biggest glass cannons I have ever seen. I mean, this thing can't take a hit to save its life, but whatever you do, do not let this thing set up, because as soon as it sets up, well, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, it's basically over. And anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the first move, which is going to be the crooks. Well, one of the crooks of the set being Draco Meteor. And the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, is because paired with Dragonium Z, that's going to turn Draco Meteor into Devastating Drake, baby, which is going to be a one-time Dragon-type nuke up in this piece. Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, about Draco Meteor is that if you were to use Draco Meteor on its own, while it's a very powerful base 130 move, the drawback is that it will lower your special attack by 2 stages, so that's why we got Draconium Z, baby, so that way you don't have to use Draco Meteor right away. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not the only move to utilize here in this set. No. Because coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have Sludge Wave, which is going to be its other stab. This Pokemon being a poison dragon type, it is so ridiculously awesome. I mean, my god, like, having poison to counteract fairies, like, that is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, this is a better version of Dragalge. I mean, holy hell. This, oh man, I am, wow. I'm getting speechless already. We're not even done with this slide yet. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, what we got going on with the Sludge Wave, it is going to be base 95 power, and this right here is going to completely screw fairy types if they try to switch into you. But ladies and gentlemen, we are not done with this yet, because coming up next, we've got Nasty Plot. Yes, Nasty Plot. As if this Pokemon wasn't already nasty enough. I mean, looks aside, and offenses aside, stats and abilities and typing aside, it gets Nasty Plot. So, I mean, it doesn't get any more nasty than Naganadel, because with Nasty Plot, that boosts your special attack up by 2 stages, man. Which basically means all you gotta do is just set up a Nasty Plot, and you can easily take down 1, 2, maybe even 3 Pokemon, depending on your luck and depending on what your opponents face off against with when it comes to Naganadel. Oh my god, that's just so crazy. But you're probably thinking, well, wait a second. I mean, this Pokemon could be easily walled by Steel types, right? Wrongo, because get this, ladies and gentlemen, woo! We got Fire Blast, baby. Yes, go ahead and try to switch in, yo, Steel types, man, because this move right here, Fire Blast, in combination with Sludge Wave and Draco Meteor, makes this Pokemon ridiculously difficult to counter. I mean, my god, like, Fire Blast on a Pokemon like this, it's just too good to pass up, and this gives it some really solid coverage, which makes this Pokemon next to impossible to wall. I mean, unless, of course, if you're using a Heatran in Ubers, but I mean, how often do you see a Heatran being used in Ubers? And even still then, Heatran can be very, very easily dealt with by its Uber friends. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is the start, but now it is time to meet the supporting factors of the team. Let's go ahead and let's move on. So coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves deoxys-speed, baby. And this Pokemon right here, it is known primarily for being a hazard slash lead, which is exactly what this Pokemon is meant to function as. And even though it's more or less a one-dimensional Pokemon, quote-unquote, it is a Pokemon that excels in its role so good. Hence why this is practically an irreplaceable member here on this team, at least in my opinion. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's break down this Pokemon right here. So the ability that we're going to be giving it, well, its only ability is going to be that of Pressure, which basically doubles the consumption of power points that's used against it when it comes to moves. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to be giving it a Rocky Helmet rather than the likes of Focus Sash. And the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, is so that way you can punish Rapid Spin and U-Turn users, even though this Pokemon is weak to U-Turn. Basically what goes on is that anytime someone tries to make contact with Deoxys-Speed, they're going to be getting some good chip damage with Rocky Helmet, which is going to be ruining the likes of Focus Sashes, the likes of Sturdies, you name it. It is a really annoying item to have on a particularly annoying Pokemon like Deoxys. I mean, like, take your pick. I mean, Focus Sash guarantees that you don't die in one hit, but Rocky Helmet just adds an extra bit of annoyance to this utility beast. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is the Nature. It is also going to be a Timid Nature because we're not even going to be bothering with any attacks. And with Timid Nature, you're going to be boosting his speed as much as possible, and we're going to be going with a 0 attacking IV. Now, as for the EV spread, we're going to be going 240 EVs into the HP, 252 into the speed, and 8 into defense. And then the first move we got going on, well, none other than Stealth Rocks, which basically is irreplaceable for Deoxys, because Deoxys is the best hazard setter in Ubers. I mean, it's got the speed to do it, it's got, oh man, it is just absolutely crazy. It's got the move pool and everything to pull off this kind of roll, baby. But basically, Stealth Rocks is an entry hazard that whenever your opponent switches into, it damages them according to their type weaknesses. So, Stealth Rocks, when it comes to things like Ho-Oh, which is 4 times weak to rock, half their health, wham, bam, gone. Like, that right there is just absolutely incredible. But that's not the only thing that this Pokemon has going for it, so let's keep on going. Coming up next, we have ourselves Taunt. This is a great way to shut down any sort of opposing setup and defog, because the thing is, man, is that with Deoxys and with its well-known versatility when it comes to entry hazards and suicide leads and all that stuff, the thing is, there's going to be a lot of Pokemon trying to get rid of the damage that deoxys-speed causes with the entry hazard. So what do, man? You slap on a Taunt so that way they cannot use defog. And getting back to what I was saying about the Rocky Helmet punishing rapid spin users, well, it does exactly that, man. So this Pokemon is meant to troll any Pokemon that has access to entry hazard removal. It's absolutely great. So coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves Spikes. I mean, you might as well put spikes on this thing because it gets spikes, and that's just absolutely amazing. It allows you to set up 3 layers of spikes, which is going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage if you're able to stack up that many entry hazards. And it's going to be really annoying to deal with. And last but not least, we've got Magic Code. Yes, this Pokemon gets access to Magic Code. What Magic Code does is that it reflects any status move back at the opponent. So if the opponent tried to go for Taunt, well, Magic Code is going to bounce that back, and that person that just used Taunt is going to be taunted themselves. And anytime that someone tries to set up a Leech Seed, a status move, entry hazards, etc., you name it, Magic Code, wham, it's going to reflect all that back, which basically means that it's going to make your attempt at trying to status and stack hazards on our side completely obsolete. I mean, it's just ridiculously crazy. But the thing is, though, ladies and gentlemen, is that that's not the only thing that's crazy about this team. So with that being said, it is now time to move on to our next member. So ladies and gentlemen, hope you're ready for some spooky power. That's right, man. We got Marshadow as the 3rd team member, baby. And this Pokemon, like Naganadel, obviously did not belong in OU, hence why it got shafted hard to Ubers. And even with its placement in Ubers, it is absolutely amazing. So let's go and let's get into the details of Marshadow. Now, obviously, the only ability to use on this thing is Technician. And Technician, by no stretch of the imagination, is a bad ability. I mean, this ability is amazing because what this does is it boosts the power of any moves with a base power of 60 or lower. It boosts up by 50%, so that means that any 60 base power moves gets boosted up to 90, which is ridiculous. And given the fact that this Pokemon has access to priority moves like Shadow Sneak, which is going to hit for base 40 power, it hits for base 60 power. Just to put in perspective how crazy good that is. But, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even gotten into the details of this set, and already this Pokemon sounds more than convincing enough to be put on this team. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, as for the item, I chose to go with Life Orb because this Pokemon is meant to be a glass cannon that's meant to go out and hit hard and do as much damage as possible. And Life Orb, at the cost of 10% of your health, will increase the power of those moves by 30%, which is absolutely ridiculous, man. And especially coming off a base 125 attack stat, I mean, holy hell, that's just amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And speaking of amazing, let's get on to the nature. It is going to be that of Jolly, and it's going to have a jolly good time pummeling your opponent's faces in with a set like this, but we're going to get into that shortly. Jolly Nature is going to reduce the special attack and increase the speed even further, and we're going to be maximizing the attack and the speed with 2v2 EVs apiece, and then putting the rest into defense with 4 EVs. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the first move, going to be Close Combat, a very, very spammable move in this situation right here. My God, wow, I am absolutely speechless. Like, that is how good it is. I am absolutely speechless. I'm having such difficulty trying to find the words to explain Close Combat, but I'll explain it very summed up. Base 120 power, stab fighting type move, because it's a ghost and fighting type Pokemon, which basically means all you need to do is run ghost and fighting type moves, and you have irresistible coverage, man. But the thing is that Close Combat hits really hard with base 120 power, and when you combine that with its stab and Life Orb boost, my God, it's going to be putting a dent in everything. Like, even if it's resisted, you're not going to want to take too many close combats from this thing. But if you're a Lugia, I mean, okay, like, that thing could eat up close combats all day long, but Lugia, you might want to watch out, because coming up next, we've got Spectral Thief. And Spectral Thief is an amazing base 90 power move that actually steals your opponent's boost from them and then uses it against them. So, I mean, here's the thing, man, is that, like, if your opponent is trying to stack up with setting up their stats and all that stuff, all you gotta do is just use Spectral Thief on them and you're in that situation, and you're gonna steal all their stat boosts against them, and you're gonna use those stat boosts against them, and it's just gonna be absolutely amazing. And it's such a trolly little move too, and this move hits Lugia very, very hard. I mean, obviously close combat's 4 times resisted, right? But Spectral Thief is definitely not resisted. In fact, it's super effective, and it's like I'm saying, man, fighting a Ghost-type coverage is irresistible, but, ladies and gentlemen, there's more to be irresistible about when it comes to this set, such as this next move right here, known as Shadow Sneak. And this is a fantastic move to round off Marshadow, because this gives really solid priority, not to mention with Technician and Life Orb and Stab boosting it, Shadow Sneak actually hits pretty damn hard for a base 40 type priority move. But the thing is, with Technician boosted up to 60, Life Orb boosting up even further, Stab boosting up even further, my god, like, that's a lot of power up in this piece, you know what I'm saying? But last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Rock Tomb, and I got one Pokemon for it. Ho-oh! That is the entire reason you want to run Rock Tomb, and the thing is also, ladies and gentlemen, is that it works great against the likes of Salamence, Mega-Salamence, Shaman Sky, or any other flying types, and not to mention, anytime you use Rock Tomb, you lower the opponent's speed by 1 stage. And also, get this, ladies and gentlemen, as a fun little bonus, this is a base 60 power move, which basically means it gets boosted by Technician! Oh, snap! Oh, man. Which basically means that Rock Tomb is going to be buffed up to an insane base 90 power move, essentially. That's just... woo! That's absolutely ridiculous, which basically makes Marshadow an irreplaceable member here on this team, at least in my opinion. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're only just halfway through. We can't do a 6-way dance with just 3 Pokemon, man. We gotta keep on going. So with that said, let's move on to our next team member. And that next team member happens to be Yveltal. Now, didn't I see this Pokemon before on one of my more recent team building videos? I think I did, and you guys are probably thinking, well, MegaCrasher, it's like, how come you use an Yveltal again? Well, see, here's the thing, is that you're completely right to ask that, but number 1, Yveltal is one of the best Pokemon to use in Ubers, and number 2, this is an offensive-oriented Yveltal, so hopefully that clears up any sort of explanation, any sort of questioning as to why I'm using Yveltal again, and plus, Yveltal is just absolutely badass. But with that said, let's now move on to the ability. It is going to be that of Dark Aura, which basically boosts the power of all Dark-type moves by 33%. I mean, already that is more than a free Life Orb equivalent of all Dark-type moves. Now, be warned, this boosts the power of all Dark-type moves. That means even if your opponent has Dark-type moves, Dark Aura is going to boost the power of those moves too. So be aware, although I don't think you really have too much to worry about with Yveltal and when it comes to being taken out with a Dark-type move, because Yveltal is bulky even when it's meant to be offensive here in this situation. But with that being said, we're going to be going with a Choice Scarf here in this situation, because this Pokemon is meant to be a very fast and annoying revenge killer. I mean, this Pokemon Choice Scarf, I've had my ass kicked by so many Choice Scarf Yveltal, it's not even funny, man. Well, okay, saying getting my ass kicked is a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but I've had major difficulty dealing with Choice Scarf Yveltal, just to put in perspective as to how good it really is. But with that being said, we're going to be going with a modest nature, so that way we're going to be going with more attack rather than more speed, because what this does is it's going to increase your special attack and lower your attack, and we're going to be going with 252 EVs in the special attack, 252 EVs into the speed, and 4 into special defense. And the first move that we got going on is, well, it's going to be Dark Pulse, man. You obviously want to run its Dark type stab on a special set like this, especially with it being Dark Aura boosted and everything. Dark Pulse is going to hit ridiculously hard. I mean, my god, it's just a crazy ass move to use. But speaking of crazy, the next move we got going on is known as Foul Play, and it's a base 95 Dark type move, boosted by Dark Aura, I might add. And what this does is it takes the opposing Pokemon's attack stat and attacks them with it. So, I mean, if you're up against a physical attacker, like, say, Swords Dance Primal Groudon or Swords Dance Arceus, Foul Play is going to be doing a ridiculously crazy amount of damage. I mean, that is without a doubt extremely scary, but that's not all that's scary about this set, ladies and gentlemen, because coming up next, we have ourselves its flying type stab known as Oblivion Wing, and Oblivion Wing is essentially a buffed up flying type version of Giga Drain, because it's a base 80 power move, and what this does is whenever you use this move and you inflict damage on the opponent, over 50% of the health gets restored. Like, basically, it's like over 50% of the damage you cause gets converted into health restoration. That's ridiculous. I mean, if memory serves, I think it's 75%, which basically means that this Pokemon, you could say, has a decently reliable recovery move. I mean, that's just crazy up in this. That's just, oh man. But last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves U-Turn, and while this may be an attacking move, this is more or less meant to scout and do chip damage, as well as allowing for you to pivot out safely into a Pokemon that can take on the Pokemon that you use the Voltal to pivot out against. And with all that being said, that's going to round off this set, and my god, even when this thing is not a defensive behemoth, this thing is a crazy, scary offensive behemoth. I mean, you really can't go wrong with this set either, in my opinion, man. But with all that being said, let's now move on to our 5th member, because that 5th member happens to be arguably the best Uber's Pokemon in the history of Uber Pokemon. I mean, where can you go wrong with using Primal Groudon? I mean, seriously. And I know, again, like Eviltal, I have used Primal Groudon in my last team building video, but this is a different form of Primal Groudon. But with that being said, let's get into the details so that way you guys can take my word for it. But with that said, we're going to be going obviously with Desolate Land, which is going to nullify the effects of all water type moves. And considering that this Pokemon is a ground fire type and being 4 times weak to water type moves, Desolate Land is a godsend ability. I mean, holy hell. Like, no wonder this thing is broken and considered the best Uber's Pokemon in Smogon Ubers. But with that being said, there's more to cover, so let's keep going. We're obviously going to be going with the Red Orb as the item, so that way you can achieve Primal Reversion during battle. Should kind of go without saying, when it comes to Primal Groudon, you're definitely going to want to use its Red Orb, otherwise you're just going to be getting regular Groudon, which there's no hate on that. I love regular Groudon, but Primal Groudon is kind of like the Dawn in comparison, you know what I'm saying? But with all that being said, we're going to be going with an Adamant nature, so that way we increase the attack and lower the special attack. And with the EV spread that we got going on here, it ensures that even at +2 and a Stealth Rock switch in, you survive a +2 Geomancy Xernea's Hidden Power Ground. And that right there is very, very impressive. So we got 168 EVs into the HP, 240 into the attack, 36 into special defense, and 64 into the speed. And with that said, let's go ahead and let's go on to the first move. It is going to be that of Rock Polish, baby! Woo! Because what Rock Polish does is it doubles the speed. And you know what? It's like all you gotta do is just use Rock Polish once, and you're good to go. Like, you are a scary mofo, but you go from being a scary mofo to being a scary fast mofo. I mean, holy hell. And the thing is that Rock Polish boosts your speed by 2 stages. So there you go. Like, that's just crazy. And coming up next, we have its signature move known as Precipice Blades, which is a ridiculously strong ground-type move. I mean, if you're not resistant or immune to that shit, you're pretty much gone. You're history. Gonzo, goodbye. You're extinct. You're going back to the Stone Age as far as I'm concerned, Daddy. But coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have its other boosting move. That's right, Swords Dance. Like, this is a double dancing Primal Groudon, man. And it's gonna be dancing all over you while it's eating its milk and cookies up in this piece. Because what this does is it boosts the attack stat by 2 stages. So, I mean, all you gotta do, set up a Rock Polish, set up a Swords Dance, and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You are like, holy hell, good to go up in this piece, man. And last but not least, we're going to be going with Fire Punch, so that way, not only is it stab boosted, but it's Desolate Land boosted too, which basically means that Fire Punch goes from being a base 75 power move to being a base, holy hell, oh, that's a lot of power kind of move. I mean, especially with Swords Dance being factored in, man, ooh, damn. Even Giratina's not going to be able to stomach too many of them Fire Punches, then, well, if it's not in Origin form, it's going to be not able to stomach Precipice Blades whatsoever, especially after a boost. That's ridiculous, man. I mean, I always love using Primal Groudon as a defensive Pokemon, but as an offensive Pokemon, my god. This is actually really terrifying now that I've gotten into the details of this shit. But with that being said, we are not out of the woods yet. We have yet to introduce our final member. So with that said, let's get into it. Oh shit, it's mega-salamence up in this piece, or as I like to call it, the Flying Crescent of Death. I mean, what the hell? Like, was Game Freak thinking giving Salamence a Mega Evolution and giving it a Mega Evolution that's actually, like, busted? I mean, even with the Aerialate nerf, it is still ridiculously terrifying to face off against in battle. So with that said, let's go to the abilities. We're initially going to start off with the Intimidate ability as its base ability when you are regular Salamence. But obviously, ladies and gentlemen, when you Mega Evolve, you obtain Aerialate, which is going to turn normal type moves into flying type moves and boost them by 20%. And it used to be 30%, but it got nerfed down to 20, but even still, there's not really too much of a noticeable difference in my opinion. Now, with all that being said, if we really want to crunch numbers, if we really want to get anal about it, okay, well that might be a little bit of a different story. Yes, you're right. That negative 10% takeaway could add up in the long run, but I really don't care about that because, like, Aerialate, mega-salamence, with the stats, with the bulk, it is just absolutely amazing. But with that said, let's get into the set of even more amazingness. I know it's not a word, I get it, but with that said, we're obviously going to be going with its Mega Stone known as the Salamence to achieve Mega Evolution when you are Salamence and you hold its Mega Stone. And coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be taking a look at the nature. It is going to be that of Adamant, because the thing is, man, you want this thing to be an all-out attacker, although, ladies and gentlemen, this thing can very well take a lot of hits. So if you want to run this as a defensive Pokemon, you certainly can. But in this situation here, we're going to be making this more offensively oriented. Now, what Adamant does is it will increase your attack and lower your special attack. And the EV spread is so that you ensure, even after a Stealth Rock switch in, you survive a Brave Bird from Ho-Oh. Now, what we got going on here is 44 EVs into the HP, 252 into the attack, and 212 into the speed. And even though you're taking a little bit of a hit in the speed, it's not going to matter once you set up a Dragon Dance or two in the long run. Now, with all that being said, the first move we got, speaking of which, is going to be Dragon Dance, which is going to be increasing the attack and speed by 1 stage apiece. And this Pokemon is very, very capable of getting off a couple Dragon Dances, or even several. I mean, this Pokemon is so bulky and so efficient if you know how to play your cards right. Now, coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves Double Edge. And what Double Edge is a normal type move that gets boosted by Aerialate and turned into a flying type move. And it is a very solid base 120 power move that is essentially a buffed up version of Brave Bird, if we're going to be completely technical here, because this is turning into a flying type move, and with Aerialate boosting it, I mean, base 120 becomes base however much it gets powered up, and Double Edge is going to hurt whatever it hits. Now, keep in mind though, ladies and gentlemen, is that like Brave Bird, Double Edge does have recoils, so 33% of the damage that you cause will turn into recoil for mega-salamence, so be watch out for that. And coming up next, we have ourselves Roost. And Roost is imperative on a set like this, because what this does is restores 50% of your maximum HP. And given the fact that this Pokemon has the bulk to set up Dragon Dances, it also has the bulk to go for roost, so that way you'll be able to set up even more so in the battle. And last but not least, we've got Facade. This is going to be our trump card here against any Pokemon that feels the need to try to level us with statuses. You want to burn this thing? Go ahead, man. I encourage you to try to burn me, man. Go ahead, try to poison me, man. Because what Facade does is it's a base 70 power, but when you are afflicted by paralysis, burn, or poison, it doubles in power to base 140, and with Aerial Aid boosting it into stab and 20% and all that stuff, and with potential Dragon Dance boosts, oh my god. Facade is going to hit like a truck. It is going to hit like a truck. So this is a way to say beware any stat users, because see, here's the thing, man. You try to status us with a burn, with a paralysis, or with toxic. It's like, okay, you just signed your own death warrant, because Facade is without a shadow of a doubt going to rip you to shreds, and thus it is going to make Salamence even more of the flying croissant of death, as I call it. No, it was more like the flying crescent of death, although its wings, if you look really close and you really think about it, it does look like a big flying croissant. I'm hungry all of a sudden. Anyone want croissants? I'm in. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that right there is going to be concluding this hyped as hell team building / rate my team video of Naganadel in Smogon Ubers. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed this team and enjoyed the video, and like I said at the beginning of the video, do not hold back on your criticism, man. Let me have it, man. Because like my Duskmane Ultra Necrozma team, I want this to be the Naganadel Dream Team squad I've been hoping to build, and I hope at least I did a good enough job at least at building the foundation. But with all that being said, I hope you guys do enjoy this video and do enjoy these sort of videos. And if you want more videos like these, then please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will give you more videos like these. And with all that being said, I want to say thank you guys all very much. Have yourself a good night. If you enjoyed the video, smash the thumbs up button. It really does help the content, and I really appreciate it. Whoever helps out, I mean, my god, you guys are absolute legends. Y'all are legends for supporting this crazy nut house. Thank you so very much. And also, as I said at the beginning of the video, the very beginning, thank you guys so very much for the amount of love that has equaled out to being 5,800 people worth. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are truly amazing. You guys are truly a blessing. God bless you. God love you. Thank you so much. Have yourself a good night. I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget, subscribe, support, stay positive, keep it 100, and I'll see you next upload.